How you doing, everyone? A big video to go through here. We're going to go through the 3 Saturday night games and also just an update of where the teams are at. I know a few people asked me how the teams are going, so I may as well do this before the last 2 games and get a bit of an idea of maybe where we might shake out in the in a score and then an overall rank after round 2. So the people squad sitting at 479 and gone okay this week. Haven't had any too many crazy stuff ups, but obviously the nice score last night was not ideal at all, and we'll speak about that in a second. But Harry Grant up there. I'm not sure if we're going to get the update on the points. So Grant 61, Arrow 45, based on NRL.com's scoring. Unfortunately, that was a bit annoying. We're going to have a bunch of players left. We've got Tuolangi, we've got Randall, we've got King, we got Haas, Stefano, and also Man. So 6 players left, sitting at 479. I think we should, with captain as well, I think we should make a bunch of ranks and be in that top 1,000 pretty comfortably with the 6 players. And after not making 2 trades, I think that's a pretty good start to the season. I think having guys like Brown was really good as well. But again, we'll jump through that in a second. So 6 players left with the captain 479. Move to the head-to-head squad and a lot more players in this game. We actually have 8 left with 452. The thing here is we have Walters, and there's some talk of him possibly playing some 5'8". Don't know exactly what's going to go there. We're not sure how many minutes Hetherington's going to get. So there's a couple of things there that will probably lower down our scores a little bit. So the 452 there with 8 players to go is obviously pretty good signs. We had Ben Hunt there with 85, was really cool. Birdie there. We don't have the Aiken or the Lolo, for example, to get that 40. No Arrow as well with a slightly lower score. So a pretty good week so far for this squad. Obviously, Crichton with the 44 was a little bit of an issue. We also don't have Jeremiah Nane as well with his 17. And we haven't played Ilias, which is ideal as well. So the team should go pretty well and end up probably in the top 1,000 as well, I'd say, with Payne Haas as captain with the 8 players remaining. And the last one with my team there, so sitting at 515 and have just that one less player with 5 to go. So Randall, Tuolangi, King, Haas, and also Kurt Mann. And this team here, obviously a couple of decent ones yesterday, obviously with Brown at 59, Nico at 84, Penasini was okay again with no attacking stats, and Reed with his try. So we'll speak about him a little bit later, but a decent setup for my squad at the moment. Anywho, we'll move on to those games, and we'll start with round 2 all the way back here. Okay, so we had the Titans and the Warriors to kick us off. And guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. I really appreciate that if you jump in there and do that. How good was watching Greg Marzhew play? He's a beast, man. How do you even tackle that guy? This game was closer than I thought. Titans, I thought were going to run away with it, and Warriors came back and probably had a chance or two to win it. So yes, a very interesting one, 20-18. I expected Fafita to play a lot better as well, but yeah, we'll speak about him in a little bit. But Greg, the only issue with him is Thompson not being in that side, and when he comes back, he should get that spot back. And Sammy's playing well also, so I doubt that Greg keeps his spot. But we spoke about how little ball he got last week. 30-odd meters run was not enough, and to score on the first play, or the first 30 seconds of the game was pretty cool. If you decide to hold on to him, if you didn't hold on to him, then you're absolutely kicking yourself. But yeah, this is what we expect with Bowie. He might go back to a 35 next week, but if he can obviously average somewhere around the 45 mark, you're doing pretty well, and that's a great start. That's pretty much a perfect game for him. Just the one missed tackle, 160 meters, 27 tackles and a try. He did really well. All right, Toby showed what he can do in this type of game, obviously against a lesser side, and there's scoring a bunch of points. He managed to do all this in base. So 111 run meters was really nice for him. The 26 tackles for only 3 misses is cool. A turnover tackle and offload, a couple of tackle breaks, and forced dropouts. 407 kick meters, just doing a little bit of everything to get his points this week, and that's really good signs if you're looking for him to be a keeper long term. Again, will be interesting to see what happens when he comes up against the better sides, or if they get beat fairly comfortably. But it looks like their team will be pretty solid, so he should do fairly well across the season. Wade Egan had another great game, a couple of line breaks and a try this time. So 5 tackle breaks in that 65 meters. So just don't expect him to do that every week, but he's also playing really, really well. So there's a chance that he can hold around that 50 average for sure. I wouldn't be looking to pick him up, just a bit too expensive for me at this stage when you got guys like Grant for sure. Joshy Curran, he's awesome. Hey, if he continues to play those big minutes in the middle, then he's going to be a beast. The only thing is when Tohu comes back, will he be an 8? Will Curran stay a 13? Will he go to an edge? There's a few question marks there. But Joshy with 44 tackles and 148 meters, so 58 in base is super solid. And then if you get some attacking stats on that, he can get 70s like last week. So if you picked him up, you're really happy. Adam Fanua-Blake had an awesome run. They got the line break, couple of tackle breaks, and plenty of meters there. So that bumped up his scoring. That 53 minutes, I think, will be pretty normal for him. Just be aware that Lodge did play 20 minutes only. So, yeah, there might have been a slight inflation on some of these guys because of that. But, yeah, a great score nonetheless for Adam. But, again, you're buying him at, 53, 54 average. He's got 50 over that first 2 games. So, nothing extraordinary, but doing his job, I suppose. Reece Walsh, again, priced really high, but 53. He looked busy. He looked fast. He was really nice to watch. A couple of forced dropouts as well in there. A little bit of kicking. So he's going to be great this year. Will he be a keeper at the end of the year? I'd say so, but you don't have to bother picking him up now. Maybe around Origin time could be a good idea if he's not in contention. Yeah, so for Fifita, we spoke about him a little bit at the start of the season that in preseason that he might not play the 80, and that happened in this one with 64 minutes, so 44 in that time. He did have a try assist in this, but 69 run meters for a guy that as damaging as him is just not enough. And they did decide to go left a lot more to Bowie this week, which is interesting. Like Bowie almost looked like a better runner than Fifita for this round, and that has to change if he's going to stay at his keeper levels. But we know what he can do. There's every chance that next week he comes out and gets a 90. So I wouldn't be trading him out for sure, but definitely frustrating for the first 2 rounds, averaging 47.5. All right, Fotuaika and Tino, 41 each, both okay, but again, not guys you want to be looking to have in your squad. Okay, Ewan Aiken, less tackles this week, so 29, no tackle breaks, the 1 offload there and 1 turnover tackle. That was a nice tackle there, but yeah, the base is all right. We like the 41, but no attacking stats really just hurt him this week. But that's fine. If he can average that 48-50 just in base across, multiple, if it's 1 week he has more tackles, this week he has less, that's fine around there. And then some attacking stats to possibly come in those 80-minute efforts, I think he's going to be fine, especially picking him up at that price. How good was it to see Brimson come back and start really well? I think that was great to see. That line break and try assist in the first set of the game was cool. If you traded out Beau Fermor to Katoa, this is what can happen to you. No, this is probably what I expected, him to not play 80 minutes. And with someone like Bailey Sirenen on the bench, then this was a possibility of happening. But I think his base is still really good. So without the attacking stats, he had a solid game. He's fairly cheap, right, at 4.56, and we'll make some money on that. But where's he going to end up when Tohu comes back? That's the question. All right, Campbell comes in with a 38, so he's going to lose a little bit more cash. He had a solid game without being incredible. He'll warm into the season, guys, so don't stress on him. You take that. You take the 38 and his 30 in the first 2 games, really. There's other guys that haven't gone that well either. Arthur's with 37, so he was pretty solid, and he should have a spot for the next few weeks, and maybe he can end up keeping that as well. So we have seen some decent scores for him at the Broncos, and if he can, so as I said, if he can keep that spot, then it's 300k or whatever he's going to be after this, then he could be half an option. Let's just keep an eye out on him. Aaron Clark with 31 in his 60 minutes. This is very much in line with a lot of the games he's played in previous years, so he's not an incredible target. Hope you haven't brought him in this week. If you started with him, you got to hold again, just because he went really well that first game, but he did score a try. Rocco Berry, again, not too much happened with him. 127 metres, 19 tackles, a bunch of demerits in this one with a couple of errors, unfortunately, in attacking territory and 3 misses. So, again, that's just kind of like Rocco's base, and you're not going to be losing any money on him. He covers for the wing fullback, he covers for the centre, and any attacking stats, and he'll end up in the 40s each week. So he's a solid one. How good was Lodgy's spew on the side of the field when he came off? That was fun times. And yeah, it's about all we need to say. Ash Taylor with that very low game, but that's very normal for him. Sharkies and Eels. So it's a good game to go and watch this one. Even though I am a Cowboys supporter, I was sitting with my roommate and a few mates there that are Sharkies, and a nice try at the end. I was actually really hoping that Nico missed the conversion because I wanted extra time. I had a bunch of players obviously in this game with Reed and Dylan and Penasini and Hines, so would have liked that game to keep going, but nonetheless it was a nice win for the Sharks. So both teams are going to be pretty good this year, you'd say for sure. Nico with 84, again, just look at him, involved in everything. 28 tackles for 3 misses was better. Still had 3 errors, and a few of them just uncharacteristic. And to still get 84, he's pretty much a must-have, you'd say, with how much he does across the park there. With try assists, he hasn't even scored a try yet. Offloads, tackle breaks, just everything there. So he was awesome, and covers 2 positions as well. Blake Brayley does it again, which is really, really impressive. And if he can keep this up, and it looks like he's actually just going to compare it to what his brother did last year, how amazing Jaden started with the Knights, and it was like he was absolute must-have territory, and then he started to slow down and get a bit tired across the season, being a smaller body, and was making less tackles, missing a couple more. So this could happen with Brayley as well. And again, another line break with a couple of tackle breaks. So less than what he would normally do, but has he improved as a player? That's probably the thing we have to ask ourselves. And if he has, then he might come into contention for a spot across the year. I personally wouldn't be looking to pick him up now, but if you'd like to, that's also okay as well. With Grant being around, I'd be picking him first. Anyway, Dylan Brown. Much better game for him. Only a 1 missed tackle for 22, which is still a pretty low game in terms of tackles for him. But a line break assist, try assist was nice in there. Running for 185 meters and getting 5 tackle breaks was awesome. So just the lack of demerits this week was much better. And a game where he didn't do too much to still get 59 to be the 3rd highest score in the game is perfect, and is what I was hoping for and expected across the season for him. So he's someone that looks like we don't have to worry about too much. Obviously, just a pretty light first round. Finucane playing big minutes, averaging 56.5. So this will probably change with McInnes. I doubt Finucane wants to play 65 minutes across the season, but he's had a great start to the year, and I think that if you decided to start with him, it was a very left field option, but you've done really, really well. Papali'i, 54 and he's 80. So again, 7 missed tackles for him is a little bit of a pain. The four tackle breaks there. So he's solid without being amazing in that in this first few games here. So you're kind of getting the output that you want for a dual position mid and edge. Junior Balo, 54 and he's 46 minutes, so just low minutes, but thankfully did really well. Just 4 offloads in there. 100 meters gain, just a great game for him in terms of his PPM, and I suppose not too much else to say on him. If you held on to him, you're much happier with that score than what happened last week. And again, most of the Eels guys just had a really tough game last week, and you see the bounce back in all of them here, which we'll keep speaking about. Teague Wilton with another try, so 54 and he's 66 minutes. He had another great game, and if you've picked him up, you're doing well, and just ride it for as long as you can. Moses with 52, got a try, just a bit of everything, 616 kick meters. That's where you're going to get a bulk of your points there. He's solid again without being spectacular. You're getting what you paid for out of Moses. All right, Reedy, this is the painful one here. We're going to lose a bit more cash too with the 51. He'll be down around that 730, 735 K mark, and 4 missed tackles for him is not good enough. The 35 tackles is a lot less than he probably should be. I'm glad he's running the ball a bit, but no kicking out dummy half this time. He doesn't look himself at the moment, unfortunately, and that's a little bit of a worry. And I'll speak about him a little bit during the over the next few days and leading into team lists and stuff. But just a slight worry. You probably can't trade him if there was someone like even Grant, for example, got a 58, played incredible, only got 58. So unless someone was averaging 70 in that position, it's probably hard to trade him out. But definitely concerning. If you're just watching him to the eye, it doesn't look like he did last year. But you can always warm into the season and improve for sure. Gutho was a lot better in terms of his scoring. So if you hold on to him, well done. What do we got? Ramian and Moylan. Moylan had a really nice game. Again, I wouldn't be looking at him regularly, but it is what it is with Matty. Just a good game. We'll just acknowledge that. Ramian, a much better game after his 12 last week. Again, not an option. Talakai was solid. Will he be continuing to get big minutes? I'm not exactly sure, but very interesting nonetheless. Just keep an eye on him. And then you've got guys like Penasini, so 36 points there. He had 4 tackle breaks, 24 tackles for 2 misses, 100 meters, and a penalty conceded. Really solid. Again, they're not going right. He had a few opportunities down the right side, but not really in attacking territory, more like halfway, and he was making some good meters and some tackle breaks. So again, similar to Rocco Berry, I think Penn has a little bit more upside just on his base for starters, but then he has the upside in a better team as well. So he'll start to score points eventually. He'll start to score some tries. Fafita with 26 was okay. You make a little bit more money from him, but we worked out that Royce Hunt's the guy that's going to go when McInnes is there, so that's something that is helpful for Fifita owners. Nakora with 25. So this, again, this becomes a bit of an issue. A lot of people are speaking about him preseason, about how good he looked and all that kind of stuff, and then come into the normal season and we're back to this is worse than what he normally would do, but back to some lower scores. And he's going to average around that 40 odd again, like normal. McInnes with 18, so we're going to get some cash losses for him. But if we can keep him on the bench for a few weeks and then he gets a big minute role, I think he's going to be picked up by a lot of teams. And Oregon Kafusi had a low score there in the 13 jersey. Here we are for the best game of the round. The Cowboys and the Raiders. How good were they? Wow. Very low scoring game too. So just be aware of this, guys, that the top score in this game was 48, right? So when you're looking at Lolo, when you're looking at Hudson Young, all these, White and all the guys we're interested in, Jeremiah Nanai, we've got Telm Gilbert, we've got a lot of guys that potentially people have in this game, and the high score of 48 is very, very concerning. So obviously a lot of missed tackles in this game, a lot of penalties conceded, a lot of drop ball, plenty happening to just keep this game slower. And the ball less in play, less scoring for that. But White in there, Corey, again, two guys that aren't super relevant. Lolo with the 53 minutes. Interesting comments at the back end of the when he was asked questions after game, post game with Todd Payton, it's just like, what about asking about the minutes? Is he going to get over 60? They keep pumping that narrative. Does he have to play over 60 minutes? I don't know. I don't think so. Is it annoying if you own him? A little bit, but the 40 there, he just needs some. I don't know, where's his footwork gone? He seems to just be running, just cutting the ball dead straight and just hoping to get through the line. Like, he was always his best when he's running the ball and playing with a bit more footwork. So 25 tackles is fairly normal for him, but the 160 meters is not what it used to be. So does that continue? It might do. That's the worry. Tarpany, again, another one people were talking about preseason. He's going to do amazing things. Again, preseason work. He does it randomly. He probably gets 70 next week, but he's still averaging 45, and that's under what he's going to be, what he's priced at currently. So not good enough. Starling, if you picked him up, only 57 minutes, and the worry was the number 9 on the bench, which we'll speak about a little bit later. But 38. His PPM was pretty low compared to normal, unfortunately. Just hardly got to run the ball, but they did get smashed. Remember that. Talangi, he's a nice player to watch. I like him. He got he stepped on the line for one of his tries, but he's a nice finisher. I like him a lot. Not fantasy relevant. Holmes with 5 goals and just a bit of a quieter game for him, 35 points. So this time didn't get the a million forced turnovers and the try saver that he did last week, which kind of saved his points. Did get a nice line break try, but again, this is probably some of the scores that I'll be expecting him to get when he doesn't get a heap of tackle breaks and line breaks and offloads and stuff like that. So take the good and the bad with him. So if they're going to be playing better, that's great news for him. Elliott's going to get pretty cheap off the bench there. Hudson Young, just a tough game with the sin bin as well, but just not much happening for him, not much ball running for him. So he's going to lose some cash as well. Tommy Gilbert, so a lot of people were tempted by him, and he did get a lot of minutes, which was cool. But just not a lot going on down his side. 24 tackles, 2 misses, 2 penalties, 88 meters. So very low game for him, and very frustrating if you picked him up. He'll make a tiny bit of cash on that start that he had, but he'll start to even out, and good to see that he got the big minutes, but a bit of a worry for sure if you picked him up this week, and a bit of a sad one. Jeremiah Nanai with 17 and did pick up a nice try. That was a beautiful catch, but look at the demerits. Holy moly. I think it's one of the boys is saying it's like in the top 10 worst demerit games ever. So he's obviously going to improve on that, but just the running out of the line and jumping on blokes and pulling an arm out and missing them and stuff just wasn't good enough. The 3 errors is obviously something that's going to happen a bit less with the penalty as well. So he even got a turnover tackle and still end up with 17. So not his game for sure, this one. And obviously saying he was a must-have pick up, him and Tungo. That obviously bit us in the ass, but he'll improve from that, and I'm not too worried about him. You got him at a cheap price anyway. It's not like you paid $700K for a potential flop. I don't think he's going to be a flop. He's still getting the 80 minutes, and he has obviously so much talent. That catch that he had was amazing. So that's that. Let's move on from worrying about him. Trevelyan is the young fella that came on for Starling. So he got 23 minutes, and he was solid without being incredible. So he's taking away from Starling a little bit. and Tomoko with 11 in his 80 minutes. So that's what can happen with these outside backs. For the Raiders, which you see Nickel Klukstar with 6 and Schiller with 5. Yeah, not ideal at all for all three of those guys, which had pretty solid games last week, and unfortunately this time, just the lack of run meters. Like, so many low run meters in this game. A few guys over 100, but overall, tackles and run meters. What was the highest tackle count? 34, 37, 33. There's a few 37s and 34s, but no one in the 40 plus, which was, just a bit of a rough game overall. If you had a bunch of plays in this game, you really got hurt. And if you had, none or just one in this game, you've kind of got out okay. But Harlan Lukey as well, for anyone that owns him, just a 23-minute game, which is frustrating, but that can happen if you're on the bench. If things just don't work your way, then that's going to happen, and I'd be worried about that for sure. And at that price, could be a potential trade out unless he gets named in the starting side and things change. I don't think he's going to be getting huge minutes like he did last week with the 50 odd. So that's that, guys. That's the 3 games. That's the update on the teams. I hope that all of that really helped you guys out, and we will look to catch you in another video when we do a bit of a review. Have a good day, guys. Enjoy the games. Bye-bye.